It is Tuesday, August 25th. Welcome to McAfee and Hawk. I am the first name in there, McAfee. To my left, your right, Mr. AJ Hawk. AJ, how's it going? How's your Tuesday, pal?
Oh, it's going great, pal. How you doing? You feel all right? I know you just came fresh off your 2 hours of radio. You okay?
I feel good. We had a great conversation. Had Dan Orlovsky on there, Eddie George, who did not know who you were.
Whoa.
That was kind of a shot across the bow, especially because you're two Ohio State legends. That was a little bit tough for us.
Hey, that's all right. I talked to Eddie like a month ago in person.
How'd it go? Pretty good. Was it the golf thing? We talked about it. He said that he was not prepared to play actual golf, but he's been training every day to beat Charles Barkley. He said there was no breakfast ball. There was no fluffing. He did not expect any of that. He said it's real-ass golf out there in Tahoe, and he's training every day not to be the worst.
Is he still training? Is he trying to go back next year and do better, I guess?
He said he does want to go back next year. He said next year he's going to bring a caddy. He's actually going to try golf before he gets there, and he's going to really go out there and have a day. You think there's any chance I get invited next year to the Tahoe thing?
Yeah, if you let them know that you're going to show up this time when you get invited, I'm sure they would love to have you out. That event is made for you, Pat, especially when there's actually fans. Like this past year, there wasn't. You wouldn't be able to leave the course. Actually, you'd get caught with every single spectator there.
What happens if I go out there and win that thing while bonging beers with the people in the boats and slam dunking in the 9.5-foot hoops that are out there? What happens then? What do we do? Barefoot too? I mean, what happens then?
They rename the tournament after you.
Yeah. Or they close it.
You're the greatest champion they've ever had of that tournament in like 30 years of running that thing. They wouldn't mind. Are you kidding me? If the guy that's in first place is coming up number 17, the par 3 on the water, and you bong 3 beers on the tee box, and you bong 4 more on the green after you tap your birdie putt in. I think they'll be okay with that.
I don't know if I can do 7 beers in one hole and still operate. I don't know if old 33-year-old me can, but I do believe I would be able to embrace it. But there's some really good golfers. That tennis guy that won, he's an insane golfer. Like very, very.
They all are.
Kyle Williams.
Like
Kyle Williams, unbelievable at golf.
Kyle almost won. He was in the final group. I played with Kyle day one. The guy makes 0 mistakes. These dudes are shooting 70, 67, 68, like for 3 days straight.
Who'd you play with the last day?
The last day, actually, I played with Aaron and Brian Baumgartner from The Office.
Oh, yeah, Baumgartner.
Kevin Malone.
Did Aaron pick that, or does that just kind of happen?
Yeah, Aaron kind of finesse that one together because it's usually off of your score, but my score was terrible. Brian was actually playing very well for himself, and Aaron was playing pretty good.
Well, I was about to say first day with Kyle Williams, last day with Eddie George had to make you feel pretty good. That's what I thought was going to happen, but instead it was the guy from The Office and Aaron Rodgers, which, by the way, I think we got a big fall for Aaron Rodgers coming up.
A big what?
Fall. Autumn.
Oh, you think? Oh, good news coming from camp. I know people are getting very excited. I know you're very excited about how Cam Newton has looked in camp. Like, do you think, like, I'm very excited too for Cam, but I just have a hard time putting too much into training camp reports after they've been in pads for 5 days.
Whoa. Okay, listen, I understand how normally you would be 100% accurate, and I'm going to take a Dan Orlovsky line here. I disagree with you. Let me tell you why. That's what Orlovsky told me today, by the way. With Aaron Rodgers, first of all, dropping dimes and suck it signs, let's go. I mean, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and run this thing straight to an MVP. Pumped for our guy up there. For Cam Newton, though, I think the glowing reviews is such a big deal, a much bigger deal than in the past, because Cam Newton got dropped into a brand new system after 86 days of being unemployed, even missing the Zoom calls that they were having in place in lieu of the OTA. So I think hearing that it's going well is a big deal for Patriots fans, and it's a big deal for me knowing that Bill Belichick probably has a brand new weapon that he can kind of toy with and have a good time with, and it means that the Patriots are going to be in this thing no matter what anybody says. Orlovsky said that he stinks, but I think that the Patriots are going to stink and not make the playoffs because the Bills and everybody else, and they lost a lot of players who opted out and contracts and everything like that. But I think the glowing reviews, even though it's only 5 days in, are a much bigger deal this year, especially in that situation, than other years in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think the fact that he didn't get to New England, like, you'd be pretty worried, I guess, if he got there and there wasn't a whole lot of positive news coming, or they saying it was just kind of clunky. Oh, Cam's still trying to digest the playbook or all this stuff. I mean, I give a lot of credit to Cam for stepping in there with not knowing anything. I mean, he signed so late. And then I also, like I say all the time, I give tons of credit to Josh McDaniels and how they craft their offense and how they scheme people up. I'm sure they have so many different options when Cam is back there. I know Dan claims that he doesn't think they're a playoff team. Well, you also got to look at Dan's words, though. Didn't he say multiple times they're not a playoff team? He didn't say they won't make the playoffs.
Oh, you think that would be an Orlovsky move?
It's like saving. It's kind of saving it if they do make the playoffs. I feel like it's almost like when Goodell says we're going to have a complete season.
I don't know if you could see this, AJ, but Zito just dropped a breaking news as if it was Dan Orlovsky doesn't think the Patriots will be a playoff team. Oh, my God.
But I do think he said, too, they won't make the playoffs, just to clarify. I believe he said that first and then later on said, no, they won't be a playoff
on
team.
NFL Live, Dan Orlovsky will have to answer for this whenever the Patriots go on a run at some point, and he has to talk about this. Or maybe he'll just act like it never happened. But I like the fact that Zito is like, no. Let's go ahead and remember this. Yeah. His hair was fantastic this morning. His take on the Patriots, I just don't know. The amount of gut sack it takes to say that the Patriots are going to stink is massive because – everything tells you that they're not going to. I mean, everything that Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels, Ernie, the culture, the team, the system, it's just everything says that they're going to be good for as long as they want to be good. But if you go out there and say they're not going to be good and they end up not being good, that has to feel damn good. But if you go out there and say that they're not going to be good, not going to make the playoffs, and then they do, you're just another chip on the shoulder for every single masshole that's like, well, counting us out yet again. ESPN thinks we're dead again, and that's just not the way it goes. It's just it feeds into their narrative so well.
Yeah, Trent Dilfer.
Well, yeah, it does. If they didn't have Cam Newton, if they didn't sign Cam, I would be on board maybe with Dan Orlovsky's take that they're not going to make the playoffs. There's just too much up in the air. But when you have Cam, a former MVP, if the dude is healthy for the majority of the regular season, I think they'll be in the playoffs. I know their division's gotten better. I just don't think their division's gotten that much better to overtake them like that.
Did you watch the McDermott mic'd up that the Bills put out on social media?
No, I have not. What is it? What do they do?
I like the Buffalo Bills organization. I like Bills Mafia. Okay, I like Old Bean up there.
This is like saying, with all due respect, like, what are you? You're trying to bury him?
It was the worst mic'd up segment I've ever seen in my life. I mean,
what was it? I need to know what it was because I'm going to go back and watch it.
Cut. Next clip. Cut. Next clip. Here we go.
There it is, boys.
Here we go. Cut. Next clip.
Yeah.
Here we go, boys. Cut. Next clip. Fly around. Cut. Next clip.
Keep flying.
It was the worst mic'd up thing of all time. I was watching it. I was like, why am I watching this? Why am I giving this a view? And maybe that's what they decided. The Bills like, fuck it. We'll put out the worst mic'd up ever that tells us absolutely nothing, and then we'll keep it moving. But I can tell that they are all in on being a good football team. We don't care about what social media gets to see. We don't care, but we're not giving away anything. If McDermott even mentions a football thing, edit it out. We want to be on top of everything. We got the Patriots potentially where we want them to be with a new quarterback, a lot of players opting out. We need nothing to leak out. What I will say from that mic'd up video, though, McDermott's hat is next. It was a safari hat with a thing that kind of hung down in the back.
Yeah.
It was electric. And I was like, okay, I like this guy, but this video stinks. This is terrible content. What's up, Ty?
We were talking about it earlier, and Connor mentioned it too, about how good the Patriots secondary still is. And AJ, I don't know if you've ever had to deal with this, but like, how difficult is it if you still lose 6 starters on defense? Like, for the guys who are still there, like how big of a change is that?
Well, I guess it really depends on the 6 that replace them. There's certain guys you can't replace. I mean, Hightower's been there for so long. He seems to always come up huge when they need him the most. That guy's like, he's not really replaceable, but can you find someone to hold the spot, I guess, until he gets back? And when the other, 6 guys is a bunch. It really is. But it goes back to the whole thing, though. Like, how can you count the Patriots out of not having those next 6 guys ready? Like, when if you're on the Patriots, like, hey, I could start 1 week, and then I might be inactive for the next 2. Like, that's just kind of how they work things to try to match up right, and they're very unique. No other team can really do that. So I would give them, I don't know, we'll see how these guys do, but it's not easy. The vets have to pull them along a little bit, especially early on. You got to learn the shorthand language, how we're going to communicate on the field. The good thing, I guess, that would help them with losing 6 starters is that the new guys, when you start playing games again, there's no fans. So it makes it tough sometimes defensively when you're playing at home. Say it's 3rd down. Yeah, you want the crowd. It's kind of double-edged sword, I guess. Think about it, Pat. 3rd down, you're on defense. You're rushing the passer. I've seen your pass rush. Guy's going to kick slide against you. It's not going to work. But you want the crowd to be juiced, to try to get the offense to jump off sides or whatever. But hey, guess what? The defenders, too, are trying to communicate and yell things back and forth. And if you have some guys that haven't been in the system very long, they may not know the hand signals as well, and some crowd noise could hurt them. So I think that will help when you replace some starters.
I'm going to do the ice pick.
Go get him.
Bang! You see that? AJ, I just
is your
beat
best
Foxy.
one. That is your best one.
Yeah, I'm the O-line in this situation.
Yeah, I just beat him. By the way, these shorts, AJ, we're going to sell these probably within the next year or so. They were created. These are the best things we've ever made. These are the,
Supposedly 4 weeks.
Let me see.
look at this.
Oh, they look almost like Umbros. I like them.
What?
Oh, dude.
What is that?
Umbros are great shorts.
Umbros are great, but shut the fuck up. This does not look like Umbros. These are the best shorts we've ever. Look at the inside. There's even like an interior liner that's like comfortable. And also look at the quad. Look at the, you know what I mean?
I
Look at
thought
the-
that yesterday, but I didn't want to say it.
Yeah. I love these shorts. I don't
Umbros
know-
are great.
I don't know when they're going to be able to be on sale, but I am pumped to sell them and make no money off of them because I just learned how expensive they are to make. I mean, it's going to be tough for business, but hey, they're damn good. Let's go down to Tampa Bay. Okay, let's go down to the Tampa Bay Gronkaneers. They've become the Tampa Bay Q Gronkaneers. AQ Shipley signs with the Tampa Bay Q Gronkaneers. This was news that was broken by Adam Schefter. Even though we have known it for some time now, we chose to do the civil thing and right thing and wait for him to have officially signed before we announce it. The insider game is a rough one. We didn't want to get into it. A new center who's been around for now is 12 years. What does that do to a team? We like AQ as a human, obviously. He's a hysterical human being. He's been around a long time. But I would assume bringing in a veteran presence into that offensive line is good news for everybody. Even if he's not the starter, this is good news. AQ Shipley's going down to the Tampa Bay Q Gronkaneers.
Well, it's super valuable. Don't you think AQ could swing too? If they had a guard go down, he could be a guy that could.
Swing,
I mean, it's so valuable because you could go into a game with 7 O linemen, 6 O linemen active if you really think AQ can bounce around if someone goes down. But do you think he's going to start?
I don't know. I don't think I even asked him really what the expectations are going in there. That's his crew, though. Goody, the offensive line coach he's been with since Indy. He was there in Arizona, BA, Clyde Christensen. I mean, he has great relationships with all of them. So I think he's very comfortable in the offense. So even if he's not starting, whoever is potentially starting, he knows everything. He can help out wherever. I would assume he's going to play, though. That just seems to be what happens with AQ Shipley. He shows up. There isn't a lot of expectation because, he's a lot slimmer now, but he was a round mound. He got short arms. And then he gets in the game, and they're like, oh, my God, that guy can really go. The Pittsburgh guy, and he's hilarious. We like him. So I think he'll end up playing for sure. I never asked him, though, if he's planning on starting or whatever.
Plus, he has played fullback before in his career, and he's in great shape. So goal line fullback is potentially an option.
I hope there's a futures bet on him scoring a touchdown this year, if we can bet it or not.
FanDuel.
I hope that is a potential bet. We should bet on that because he will throw that head right into a gap if he has to down on the goal line, and which would hopefully leave him open. And when you look at him, you don't think the guy could catch, but en contraire, Monfrere, he's got great hands. He's actually a high school Hall of Famer for his basketball career, not even his football career.
Whoa.
So good signing by the Tampa Bay Q Gronkaneers down there. You going to play for him? You going to go play for him, AJ?
No, I don't think that's going to happen. But I'm happy for AQ. What a great deal for him. I know he probably had a couple of different options.
He did.
When Tampa Bay gives you a ring and Tom Brady is at the helm and Bruce Arians is there and Byron Leftwich and they're ready to roll, I think it was a pretty easy decision for AQ.
I think he had two other options, if I do recall. I'm not going to break that news. I'll let him do it. And by the way, he'll probably do it through Schefter anyways.
Son of a bitch.
Pretty good teams.
Son of a bitch. But he had pretty good teams all on the line there. And because he knows that system so well. He knows Bruce's system so. He's there in Pittsburgh, Indy, Arizona, now down in Tampa. I mean, he knows the system so well. He's probably like, this will be a perfect fit for me. Year 12, I'm not sure he's expecting much, but they can make a run now. That's a team. Mike Evans said, hey, we can be an all-time offense. I agree with him. I agree with him. They can be. And I think if you see any of the footage that's coming out that we don't get to see much, obviously, from these practices. Normally when fans are there, we hear a lot more. There's no fans. It feels like that team is getting put together rather quickly.
Yeah, it does. But do you think our expectations are too high for them, like the Browns last year?
Well, listen.
They're obviously not the Browns. We understand that. But I feel like when you talk about Tampa Bay, people are either like, oh, they're going to be garbage, or people think they're going to win a Super Bowl. Like, there's no in between.
Yeah, but the people that think they're going to be garbage, it's hard to take them serious.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like Connor. People like Connor that are just
Well,
exactly.
that's not true.
That's the problem.
I don't think they're going to be garbage. I said last week they're going to win at least 12 games. I mean, you partner Brady with someone like Bruce Arians, and if Bruce Arians' offense, like you guys have said, is all on knowing where to throw the ball before the snap, I mean, is there anyone better in NFL history? Maybe Peyton Manning. that knows where they're going with the ball?
That's the thing about Tom is he knows, in that I don't know if that is something he's always been able to do, but with 20 years of successful offensive experience, and especially with that Patriot offense being predicated on checks and everybody seeing the same thing, I feel like Tom can dissect a defense better than anybody in the NFL right now. I feel like that is something he is very good at, and that is paramount in the Bruce Arians offense. That's why the first year the quarterbacks go into that system, it's always difficult because they all have to see the same thing. Carson Palmer said he struggled in the first year of Bruce Arians' offense. Jameis Winston obviously struggled in the first year of that offense, although they put up big passing yards, a lot of turnovers. I feel like Tom's just not going to do that. That's Tom's thing, is like understanding and knowing exactly what they're going to do and not turning the ball over because of it.
Yeah, how's he going to balance that between like when every other quarterback their first year in that scheme? I know Bruce likes to go deep. He likes to take shots, and that could happen. But don't you think they're going to find a weird balance between what Tom is great at, what he's done for 20 years, and what Bruce and Leftwich want to run?
How about this? Who's going to win? Who's going to make the playoffs? Who's going to win the division, the NFC South, right now, Tuesday, August 25th? A.J. Hawk, Ohio State legend, Super Bowl champion, picks this team to win the NFC South, Tuesday, August 25th. Go ahead and hammer
Tampa Bay Bucks. I mean, of course, I'm taking Tampa Bay here.
Okay, all right. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win the NFC South.
I mean, the Saints, you can obviously – a lot of people pick the Saints. I don't count the Falcons out. I know people have already written them off for the year. And the Panthers, I feel like everyone says, hey, it's a rebuild year, which it looks like it may be a little bit.
So you're 100% on Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tuesday, August 25th, winning the NFC South. No problem at all. Lock it up.
Lock it up.
Wow. Because you're not normally like that, by the way. You're a guy who
you asked me a question, though. Like I care to make a prediction, but you asked me the question, so I'm going to.
Whoa. That wasn't what I was going to say.
Calm down.
What I'm saying is I'm a guy that rides the wave of emotion a lot. I am the guy that sees something. I'm like, boom, immediately making a decision because of that. You're a little bit more cerebral, okay? You like to sit back and get the entire thing. But as soon as I saw Tom go to Tampa and then Gronk jump in, and then now they got AQ Shipley, I'm like, oh, that team's definitely going to win. No problem at all. Let's keep it moving. I was called an idiot. I was told that I ride the wave of emotion too much. I'm just telling you that my cigar-smoking, cerebral friend right over here believes the same fucking thing, and I feel pretty good about that.
Plus 160 at FanDuel Sportsbook for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win the NFC South.
Look at AJ giving out underdogs and good odds out here. That a boy, AJ. Go ahead and put some money on
the
that.
Saints are the favorite to win?
Yes.
Yeah. They got
man, what kind of year is it going to be for Drew?
Especially after his offseason.
And you don't have that. Do we know if they're going to have any fans in the Dome? Because that place will be a different kind of atmosphere with no fans. We know how difficult it is to go in there and get a win when it's jammed.
Miami has come out, and they're the only team, I think, that has completely laid out an entire plan on how fans will be in the stands. Like, hey, ticketless entry, you come in at this time, you come in at this time, here's how we're going to do it. Miami has been at the forefront of telling people, we will have motherfuckers in the stadium. Okay, that is what they've said literally since jump. Now they have an entire plan. Haven't heard anybody else really talk about it. Honestly,
a lot of teams are pushing them back. Like they won't do the first 3 weeks. They won't do the first 4 weeks. So I think some are waiting to see, honestly, how those go.
Which seems to be everybody's decision in this world that we're in right now. It's like, yeah, we'll do it.
We'll see what happens.
Maybe, yeah. Oh, SEC, we'll play. It's different, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
ACC, yeah, we're definitely going to have a season, maybe, possibly.
Yeah.
And the Big 12 is like, listen, we're not going to say a goddamn thing until everybody else figures it out, which is very, very smart. But it feels like that's everybody because that Saints, the Superdome is a much different world when those fans are in there. Now, granted, the only comparison I have, I guess, would be warm-ups when their fans aren't in there and then when their fans are in there. But that place is electric. I mean, it is very intoxicated, very loud, and their offense puts up insane numbers, so there's a lot to cheer about. That is normally what people cheer about, is offensive completions and the ball moving. It happens in training camp. Whenever there's a long completion on your own team, the fans go crazy. It's like, well, should we be happy? Or our guy just got burnt right there. They go crazy every single time. That Saints offense is an operable offense that is asking their fans to lose their minds on a very regular basis, and that place is scary whenever it gets going. I mean, it is. They hung 69 points or something like that on us on Sunday Night Football. It was insanity, and that place was rocking the entire time. What's up?
I asked this because I assume that Drew Brees is going to be taking everyone's best shot next year, defenses. Do you think, like, for you guys, like, do you think there will be more injuries because there aren't any fans in the stands? So, like, it'll be harder to, like, I mean, do you get, like, that much more adrenaline, you know, to, like, maybe play through, like, some ailments or anything like that?
They got Toradol still?
Doesn't sound like it. AJ's never had it.
If they got Toradol still, we ain't talking about anything. But for the Green Bay Packers of the league, I would assume the fans are going to be that's a pretty big deal, like in the feeling of it being a big day, right, AJ?
Oh, it's gigantic. I don't know if it's going. I mean, that's a great question by Ty. I never thought of it that way, but it's going to. I don't know. Once the game starts, are you Ty? Are you trying to say like if someone's trying to fight through some kind of lingering injury, like to dress and play that day, or if they get hurt during a game, are they going to come?
Either way, but I think more like the lingering one. Like if something's kind of just like tweaked, and like typically a guy would be able to push through it because of how much juice he has and adrenaline from like the atmosphere in the stadium.
Yeah, there may be something to that. There may be guys. They'd have to be established guys that have already made some plays that aren't worried about sitting out a game or anything. A lot of other guys would fight through it just because they don't want their job being taken by whoever is going to replace them that game. But yeah, you might be onto something there. I don't know. Hopefully not. I would hope guys in the league are more mentally tough than that, and they don't need fans to get them through things like that.
This is going to sound so interesting, and sound like I'm grandstanding, but every time I punted a ball, I wanted it to be the best ball that has ever been hit.
Hell yeah.
Practice, game, warm-ups, didn't matter. I don't know if that's how players that play like real positions have to hit people. Like, hey, every single time I step on the field or there's film, I want it to be great. But I do believe there's a lot of people that have that mentality. Like, hey, I just want the film to be good so I can continue to make money for the rest of my life doing this.
Yeah, doesn't everybody that takes pride in what they do? Like, don't they want every single part of it to be
Hey,
the
this
best?
fucking Pizza Hut down here, they
don't
they
get it.
took no pride in their pizza. And Ty said something terrible yesterday about it, but it was
I apologize.
yeah,
That's
terrible.
not what I meant.
did you?
The Pizza Hut down here, no pride at all in their work. It actually got shut down. 700 of them got shut down. We lost our Pizza Hut. But there's not a lot of people that take a lot of pride in a lot of things anymore. The NFL, there's going to be a lot of pride there, especially if it's fourth quarter down 20, no fans in the stands. Think about that. That is going to be a very interesting. It's going to be a preseason game. It's going to feel like a preseason game or a practice. What's up, Diggs?
I found the situation for fans for all 32 teams. The Saints will definitely not have any fans at their first game against the Bucs, and probably not their second home game in September as well.
McDermott's not happy of the Bills that the Dolphins are going to be able to have fans and they're not going to be able to have fans. They think it's kind of an unfair advantage, but the owners aren't going to give a fuck about what McDermott thinks. They're going to try to get as much money as they possibly can from the limited amount of fans that they're allowed to have out there.
Didn't you see Fangio came out and said he doesn't give a damn about attendance, like if it's skewed one way or the other, if it gives you an advantage?
I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. You know what I do give a damn about? When I'm listening to something, I want it to have a nice noise isolating fit in my ear holes.
You do always say that.
And you know who I'm talking about?
Raycon in the house, y'all.
Raycon in the house. Raycon are the greatest wireless earbuds that you could ever put into your ear holes. Let me tell you why. AJ and I have weird ears, don't we, AJ?
Yes, we do.
We don't have cauliflower ear. We're not that tough. So if you see us in a bar, we are not somebody that you'd be scared to get into a fight with. But I have weird ear holes. It always kicks things out. The AirPods go in there. Some reason my ear kicks them out. The other ones that used to have to stick in there, it kicks them out. These ones get kicked out. If they weren't wrapped around my ear, literally, they kick them out. But the Raycon wireless earbuds, they come with different sizes of plugs to basically put on the end of it so that any ear hole can fit perfectly and have a nice noise isolating fit. There's no dangling stems or dangling wires. You just put it in there, boom, the world dissipates, and whatever you're listening to takes over your brain. Now, it doesn't matter if you're binging podcasts, they sound fantastic. Listening to absolute bangers in your ears that thump a little bit, they do got the boom booms, even though they're wireless. It could be absolutely anything, and Raycon makes your hearing experience much better. It's why celebrities like Snoop Dogg, Cardi B, Melissa Etheridge, Brandy, and J.R. Smith are obsessed with Raycons. Raycon offers their wireless earbuds in a range of fun colors and patterns. AJ had to do this because he's got kids. They all wanted their own individual little fun one. AJ, that process was obviously very easy because they have so many good different patterns.
Oh, very easy. There was like 8 different colors to choose from.
They have a compact carrying case that will charge your earbuds up to 4 times in a single charge, and I believe each time has 6 hours of playtime. So you do the math. That's a full 24 hours with the case. You can listen to whatever, whenever, however. Their everyday E25 earbuds are the best model yet with 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design, and they have a nice noise isolating fit. Great colors, great patterns. Raycon earbuds, both stylish and discreet. Go to buyraycon.com/sports talk for 15% off your order, brought to you by Raycon. Woo! They are very nice, by the way. You get into a workout and they
yeah.
don't even bobble. They're just in there, just locked in to your ear hole. It is very, very nice. That's kind of what it's like, actually, by the way. Here's the ear hole, and it's just in there. You know what I mean?
Not moving.
Secure.
It's nice and secure. I love everything about it.
It's like the space station.
What?
Come on.
Yeah, support the knots.
Oh, come on.
Like when they go up in there and they get the airlock, secured airlock in your ear.
Yeah, you're right.
There you go.
Hey, did Orlovsky say anything about the Niners? Didn't he say, is he worried about them?
He's worried about the Niners because the amount of injuries that they have. They got a lot of hurt wide receivers. They got a lot of interesting situations over there. They obviously re-signed George Kittle, John Lynch, Shanahan. They keeping the core together that they have, brought in offensive linemen whenever they lose offensive linemen. They're in obviously the Super Bowl last year. Everybody thinks they're going to win. Are they going to sign Tom Brady? No, yes, no, yes. We thought about it. They don't. Jimmy G's still their guy. 186 yards rushing before contact against the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship. Do they have what it takes to get over the hump? A lot of injuries. People are worried about the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, people are high on that Brandon Ayuk, the receiver. They said he left practice with an apparent hamstring issue. I mean, that's fine. Most likely it'll be, 10 days? Hopefully it's not. He doesn't linger throughout the year and you don't bring him back too early. But I don't know. I have a hard time. Like Shanahan, Kyle, how he coaches, what he does, and how smart that dude is, I have a hard time counting them out as well. Like, especially when their defense can play like they can. Like, I think Shanahan absolutely knows how to exploit matchups as good as anybody does in the league. And I think he's only going to get better at that the more he is the play caller for the Niners.
So you're saying Orlovsky's wrong again?
What did he say about the Niners, though? Like,
Says
they're gonna
worried
be
about
how
it.
bad?
He says worried about it. He wouldn't go out and say how many games they would win or lose. He just said that they have means to worry right now with the injury issue that they have going on at camp. You're saying he's wrong again? Okay, I'll write that down.
Yeah, I mean, everybody should be worrying. Every NFL coach is worrying at all times. You know how they are, Pat.
Wrong again.
They never feel like they have it figured out.
Somebody tell Dan that AJ said he was wrong again.
I'll let him know.
Somebody let him
I'll let him know later
please.
for sure.
There's a couple names on the street right now that do not have a team. If we're going to talk wide receivers, Antonio Brown is obviously out there. Percy Harvin still potentially out there. Jadeveon Clowney is out there right now. I mean, and there's a lot of names. Errol Thomas is out there right now. Des Bryant is out there right now. There's a lot of big names, AJ. Do you think these guys are going to get signed as injuries and COVID potentially happens, or do you think they're just kind of waiting and already have options on the table?
Well, about all those guys you listed, who do you think is going to sign first? I would say
Clowney.
Jadeveon Clowney, you would imagine, don't you think?
I would assume Clowney right now has a couple standing offers out there. They're like, hey, if you want to, here you go. This is our best offer. Hey, if you want to, you have this. And maybe he's just waiting till the end of training camp, which, by the way, I am a big fan of that move if that's what he's doing. I would assume he's the first to sign, though. Or maybe Earl. Maybe the Earl Thomas deal gets done rather early, too.
But where does Earl go? Doesn't sound like Dallas.
Well, Orlovsky? No. Cliff Averill said that Earl Thomas, you just have to know who he is. He said when he first got to Seattle, he didn't fully understand who Earl Thomas was, so he was a little bit taken back by it. He's a guy who goes full speed and walkthroughs. He's a guy that Earl Thomas is so laser locked in. He's just a different guy. Cliff Averill said that you have to get to know who he is. Mike McCarthy has come out and basically said, nah, but everybody knows down in Dallas, Jerry Jones calls those shots down there. What do you say?
Yeah, and Jerry, I guess, went on the radio today and talking about that rap sheet tweet. He said he doesn't know what he's talking about. He has no idea what he's talking about. Jerry Jones on the report that the Cowboys and Earl Thomas story is over.
And Ian Rappaport, obviously came out. I wonder who he heard that from. Maybe McCarthy. Maybe he heard it from McCarthy's people, because McCarthy, everybody has thought that he wouldn't want that in the locker room or right now to be an extra obstacle for him because he's potentially a personality. I mean, you see what happened in Seattle. You saw what happened in Baltimore. The senior player council voted him out. McCarthy probably doesn't want any part of that. And people say he's tight with Schneider, too, as Seattle. McCarthy is. But everybody knows that down in Dallas, it does not matter unless Jerry Jones says it matters. And if Jerry Jones wants Earl Thomas in there, which it sounds like he potentially does, everybody thinks he does, especially because Earl is a big fan. He's already pleaded to try to get down there. Now he's potentially going to come at a good price, especially if the Ravens have to pay him $10 million guaranteed. I think he ends up at the Cowboys. And I could be wrong, and I don't know if Mike McCarthy would be happy about that. But if Jerry has to come out and say that's a complete lie, that means that Jerry is not completely out on Earl Thomas yet.
No, Jerry's definitely not completely out. Don't you think Jerry loves the fact that Earl wants to be there so bad, and he's been making it known publicly for a while now?
Oh, yeah.
This could be the first real – we'll see what it's going to be like in Dallas for Mike McCarthy. If he truly doesn't want him, and he takes a stand and he's like, hey, Jerry, I understand. You're the boss. You're signing my checks. But I just don't think this guy will fit in well with the team right now, and gives it whatever reasons he thinks. And Jerry's like, oh, sounds good, Mike. and then Earl walks in the door right after that. Like, how does their relationship go after that? Are they going to be okay? Can they put it behind them and just move on?
I'll tell you what, Mike. I understand where you're coming from, but let me tell you where I'm coming from. You see all those cars parked out in that parking lot? That's from my fucking money, okay? So if I want Earl Thomas here, you go ahead and take your big ass on a hike. What if that's what Jerry says? Because didn't Mike McCarthy say in that press conference, the debut press conference, that him and Jerry and everybody had a great time? Like, they had a great time. I don't know what that means. I would like to know what that means. I hope they dive into that a little bit later. But I wonder, while that great time was happening, if Mike McCarthy said, hey, Bill Parcells said it was you were making decisions that Bill Parcells didn't want to happen. Jason Garrett has been alleged that you're making decisions that Jason Garrett doesn't want to. I wonder if Mike McCarthy said, hey, there's a little bit of a reputation that you do not care what your coach thinks about anything. Is that true? And Jerry goes, oh, don't you worry about that. Mike, don't you worry about that. Cheers, bud, or whatever it is. This will be interesting, and I assume Mike McCarthy knows that it's his job to coach up whoever's put on the team by the GM, who Jerry Jones is. He's got to do his thing, but this will be the very interesting first step of this relationship between Mike and Jerry, especially now that there's contradicting reports from Rappaport and from Jerry. I mean, this is awesome. This is Dallas Cowboys, and this is why they get talked about so much, because who knows what that billionaire is going to do right there? Nobody.
Well, and Mike gets to see firsthand like how different it is having an owner like Jerry Jones. First off, having an owner. He didn't have one in Green Bay. GM never spoke to the media. Nobody really speaks to the media a whole lot. It's in the front office there. So now you have your owner, your boss, who's going to come out every single week and do radio shows. He's going to have a press scrum after games in the locker room. It's just awesome. So now McCarthy gets to kind of feel his way into this and say, okay, all right, I guess this is how it goes. Hopefully McCarthy, I'm sure he wouldn't, but like he can just let it go. Whatever Jerry says, just in one ear, out the other. Like whatever Jerry says publicly, I guess, to radio stations that may contradict things that are going on inside those rooms. You know how players watch like their coach's press conference, kind of get a sense of how the coach is feeling after things? Like that is something you could do. You can kind of get a sense of how the coach feels. I wonder get a sense on how practice is going to be next day.
Oh, yeah. You know exactly how the schedule is going to be. You know exactly how this week's going to be by listening to that press. I wonder if Mike McCarthy is just going to be listening to Jerry's press conference like, all right, well, we'll see how we did, Donna. And then Jerry Jones comes out, well, I think the team wasn't properly prepared for today. And Mike McCarthy's like, fuck. All right, so now that's a direct shot at me. Because that was happening to Jason Garrett, by the way. Jason Garrett would be learning things, I assume, about himself via these press conferences, and that happens nowhere else. Immediately after the game, Jerry has 30 people around him, and he is just like a fire hose, just letting everything out. And it is awesome. I love it as a fan. I love it as somebody who has to talk. But you can see how Mike McCarthy, who's never had to deal with that, could potentially have a little bit of worry about how that whole thing's going to go.
Well, I think I love it. You love it. The players probably don't mind that Jerry usually stands up for his guys as well. The only person that doesn't like this is whoever the head coach for the Dallas Cowboys is. When you know you have to learn stuff from the owner through the media, and you're like, okay, I'm already sitting here as a head coach. I'm worried about what every player in that locker room says to the media. I don't want them to have to say anything stupid that other players have to answer for. And then, oh, by the way, actually, the guy who signed everybody's checks, that's the guy I'm worried about most, what he's going to say. Like if you're the head coach of the Cowboys.
Yeah, I just got to sit back. Mike McCarthy just has to sit back and enjoy the ride and coach whoever they have, but don't coach too good, especially while office hours are happening, because there's businesses that surround the practice field. So you can't do too much. I mean, that place is electric, to say the least. Absolutely electric. What else is happening in the world of the sports? There's a top 25 college football teams have been ranked and put out. 9 of the top 25 will not be playing this fall. They will be set to play in the spring. Ohio State, they're at number 2. Will they lose that number 2 spot when they play 0 games and other people play at least 1 game? TBD. Let's look forward to these rankings.
Where are they on the next poll? When the next poll that comes out, does Ohio State drop to like 7 because they're 4 games? They haven't played 4 games like everybody else?
Or do they have like a top 25 poll with like parentheses next to teams? Like, you know what I mean? Like Clemson at 1. Okay, Clemson wins the first game. They'll stay at 1. Number 2, okay, we got North Dakota State because they blew out Central Arkansas. They played 1 game. But in parentheses, previous Ohio State, they are not currently playing. We do not know how team is playing. Is that just how every top 25 is going to be? It's going to be like, okay, Oklahoma's here, LSU's here. At 7, 7 is now Florida, but it might be Penn State if they were to play. We haven't gotten footage from their practice film, but we think they're still playing good. There's going to have to be all of that. I like the fact, though, that whoever did this was like, yeah, we'll rank these fucking players right now if we have to. We don't know if any of them are going to play. We have no idea if they're going to play each other, how that's going to work, but we'll rank them if you need us to, for sure.
Well, didn't the playoff committee put out a thing like the plans for the college football playoffs?
No, what is it?
Zito, did you see that? You have a graphic of it?
Zito definitely didn't see it. Diggs?
I don't know. I didn't get to look at the graphic as much, but they have a plan in place for how the playoffs are going to run.
When's it going to run? In the spring after everybody plays?
No, after this fall season.
Regular schedule.
Oh, so there's a fall champion and a spring champion, and then you get a chance to play them? Is that how it's going to – we're talking to Eddie George earlier, who's like, is there going to be a Heisman for the fall schedule and then a Heisman for the spring schedule? Like, how are you going to do any of this stuff for 10 years down the road when you look back on it? I don't know how any of it's going to work.
I mean, don't you think the spring season's just not going to happen?
You think the fall season's going to happen?
Oh, yeah, maybe. I think the fall season will happen for the people that are planning on playing right now. You can't have so does this year have 2 national champions? Is that what you're saying if they do play in the spring?
Well, I mean, maybe the fall team just has to stay in shape until, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Get that
stay
team
ready.
ready. Only allowed to play certain
Like in
players.
the locker room, let's say Clemson wins it all, the fall national championship, and Dabo's like, hey, guys, great job. We enjoyed this one for 24 hours, but then we'll be in tomorrow. Inside run starts at 9 a.m., team at 11 p.m., and we just got 3 or 4 months of just practicing pads and try to just stay ready, try to stay sharp because we got to take on whoever the spring champion.
Listen, we got to get ready for that Big Ten Pac-12 champion that's coming in 4 or 5 months from now. We got to stay in shape, okay? We're only allowed to play a certain amount of players because they could probably bring in another class and learn an entirely new offense. I don't know how it's all going to work. It's just going to be one big asterisk, I guess. There'll be a spring champion and a fall champion.
The only thing I'm seeing is that the playoff selection committee announced the rankings release dates. Like the final ranking release date will be December 20th.
Oh, we need those, by the way.
The
very
committee
huge.
chair is the AD of Iowa, so that's kind of funny.
Oh,
Gary Barta.
Oh,
Gary.
He's not going to be happy. What if he just ranks everybody terribly?
You should.
Yeah, these teams stink. I mean, these are the top 4 teams. Allegedly, Iowa was going to have a hot year. Like, imagine if everything rollout is like allegedly. You think fall schedule is going to happen for college football, huh? Kirk Herbstreit, friend of ours, was not very positive about it. And I feel like he talks to a lot of people that know stuff. I just feel like that happens. He was not very positive on this fall schedule working out. I don't know who he's talking to, how it works out. But if you think about what COVID's probably going to do on these universities, it's going to be difficult, I think, to continue this thing. And you got to get every college football player to maintain a disciplined self-quarantine so they don't potentially pick it up from anybody so it doesn't spread throughout the entire locker room. I'm hoping it happens. I am very much hoping it happens. But, boy, it feels like that's going to be difficult to pull off. It's going to be 17-year-old kids.
We're August 25th. When's the first game supposed to happen in college?
September
26th.
21st?
21st is when Clemson goes back to campus. I think 26th was the first game.
Okay, September 26th. So we're 1 month out, basically. Month and a day.
Does it help?
I thought somebody was going to play earlier than that.
Well, I think the SEC delayed until the September 26th, and they're the only ones left, right? The SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12 are probably all thinking about doing the same thing. What's up, Dick?
There are games on September 5th.
Really? Who?
Wow.
Is the American Conference playing?
They are Memphis is supposed to have a game on September 5th. SMU, like those schools.
The American Conference is playing?
BYU Navy plays on Monday, September
Conference USA
7th.
is playing, Pat.
Shout out to the American Conference. I got a chance to see a lot of them play on Thursday Night Football last year, and I follow a couple of the coaches. The SMU coach, one of the SMU coaches tweeted out, I don't know about y'all, but we playing football this fall. such a good recruiting tool. Cincinnati's playing, Ohio State can't. That is awesome. That's like Pitt can play, Penn State can't.
Yeah.
I mean, Temple's playing, Pitt's playing, Penn State can't. What a wild time to be alive right now.
It looks like the first full schedule is Saturday, September 12th.
Let's go. We're
right around the corner.
We are close to.
I'm much more optimistic now, August 25th, than I was August 1st on college football actually going forward.
How upset is the Big Ten right now, all their fans, knowing that, listen, what we just said there, Cincinnati's playing, Ohio State is not. Pitt's playing, Temple's playing, Penn State's not playing. I assume there's like a Northern Iowa that's probably playing.
Iowa State. Iowa's not.
Iowa State. Oh, the Big Ten is going to be so mad. Watching the fans this fall is going to be
Watch
awesome.
them on Twitter. Watch the Big Ten fans on Twitter. You'll see it, Pat. Like they're going after individual people. Obviously, we know they stood outside. Multiple parents got together, stood outside like the Big Ten offices, trying to talk to Kevin Warren in Chicago. But now, it's so funny reading stuff. You know who I see it from? Our boy Bobby. My
Carter.
buddy Bobby goes at people hard on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
Bobby's
Bobby
the
highlighted.
Bobby's potentially the face of the Big Ten upset fan.
he's the general.
Oh, he puts up like he'll put up a list of numbers of like senators and Congress people where you could call in and complain and say, hey, you can do whatever you want to the ADs. Like, he'll put their numbers up where you could call their offices and file your complaint. I guess.
Keep
I
going,
think
Bob.
now they're going after the Michigan AD. The Michigan AD, or one of them was like the lone AD that was against playing this fall, or maybe the Michigan president. I don't know who it was, but I know they're figuring out who doesn't want to play in the Big Ten or who was against it. Now people are going to go after them.
What's that called? Unmasking? They're unmasking all the negative.
Keep going, Bobby.
Bobo Carpenter.
Bob Snowden.
Bob Snowden.
No.
Basically.
Cincinnati in the top 20, by the way. I'm happy for
Oh,
them.
yeah.
Hey,
Good team.
that's your guy, isn't it? That's one of your guys.
Yeah, Luke Fickley is my linebacker coach. He's the head coach. Their D coordinator I played with at Ohio State, Marcus Freeman. They're good. They're like a legit football team. Like Luke's had offers. Luke could have gone,
Michigan
taken other
State.
jobs, but I think he really likes it there. And he's been getting some players.
Allegedly, Michigan State, West Virginia, allegedly at one point was interested, and he has refused. He has stayed at the state of Cincinnati. And that team, when we went to their training camp, that team was ready. And they had an offensive lineman that transferred in from Michigan that somehow wasn't allowed to play. He's like one of the top guys maybe in the country. So that team's only going to get better. And that quarterback was what, a freshman last year or a sophomore last year. They're going to be good. Cincinnati's going to be good. But I find it very interesting that these smaller conferences have been able to figure it out. In the Big Ten that has millions and millions of dollars weren't able to figure it out. Good for the American Conference. I did not know they were playing. That is, I saw that tweet from that SMU coach, and I was like, what's that? What's this guy even say? Are they playing like scrimmages? And it's like, no. We are playing. Here's Bobo Carpenter. If you're a fan of the Big Ten, we need everyone. You can complain or you can contact the university presidents, voice your concerns. The contact info you need for every campus leader. I even split it east and west. I made it as easy as you possibly could make it. Here's emails. Here's phone numbers. You fucking let them have it, is what Bobo Carpenter said. I respect it. It's going to be tough if all these conferences are playing and we have a full slate of games coming up. And what Ohio State fans who live with that are just sitting there at their houses like, are you?
Oh, man.
Are you? Oh, Kevin Warren. Kevin Warren. It is going to be insane this fall. I'll be excited to see if they finish the season. I would assume that was what the Big Ten and the Pac-12 were talking about. Like, might be able to get a game or two. Will we be able to finish it? If they are, this is going to be outstanding to watch just from a dramatic and controversy standpoint, and also recruiting. Think about Cincinnati recruiting the same players as Ohio State potentially and saying, hey, listen, we understand that Ohio State's this big operation. They're awesome. They're everything. And Luke Fickell would be like, I coached there for a long time, played there. I know all that. But they don't even like football. They don't even play up there. Nope. Here at Cincinnati, we play football. That is going to be used against the Big Ten coaches in recruiting for probably the next 10 years, if I had to guess.
It's probably too late for them to go back on this now, too,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like, it's over and done with. There's nothing they're going to do to save this.
Oh, that's awesome.
Not now. There was a little hope last week, I think, that they were going to overturn it or they were going to figure it out. But I don't think now. I don't feel like there's any hope.
That letter came out, and he was like, nope, not happening.
Well, Bobby Carpenter redlined it, too. I mean,
Yeah.
Bobby redlined a lot of that. Well, I love it. That's how I keep up on what's going on with the Big Ten
Yeah.
and college football.
Someone's gotta
who
do it.
Bobby's mad at.
I don't know Bobby well enough. I just only follow along. What an electric factory. What an absolute, he's not happy. And I just think he is the face of the Ohio State fans. Like, I'm like, all right, Bobby Carpenter probably feels how a majority of the Ohio State fans feel. So if I know how he feels, I feel like I know how the Ohio State fans feel. And it's like, they are not happy if that's the case.
Bobby's been doing local radio in Columbus for a long time. He just switched, and now he's doing the morning show like 6 to 9 a.m. with Anthony Schlegel, my other linebacker buddy.
Thanks.
And I have a feeling that they spent a good amount of time going after some people that shut down the Big Ten.
So you're telling me 2 out of the 3 on this box are doing morning radio in Columbus right now?
Yeah.
They're Buckeye heroes. How come? Oh, man, you don't want to wake up 4 a.m. for that 6 a.m. show? It could have been the entire
The whole box.
Core.
the core of the squad here.
Wait for the logo.
Too many mics. Can't have too many guys on the mic.
Too many mic linebackers or too many microphones?
Hey, by the way, we
one,
have
Connor.
45 mics on this show and our other show, so it's all right, AJ. I'm gonna get the hell out of here. I'll see you on Thursday, brother.
Sounds good, man. Thanks.
Hey, not a bad show today. Not a bad show out of us, I think.
Yeah, I think as football starts to get closer and closer for the NFL, we'll actually have
Hey,
real things and not just pump-up videos that people put out where you just instantly think they're going to be an all-pro.
relax. I have a great way of reading the room and situations. I am currently being a mediator for a rather large potential announcement for our show for this fall. I cannot leak that out because I'm not sure how close the deal is to being done, but there is a deal that I am currently playing. What would that be called? The running and
Oh, messenger?
huh?
Telephone?
Can you? Huh? Okay.
Negotiator?
Yeah, but I'm not negotiating.
Moderator?
Agent?
You are a mediator. You said
I'd
it.
be the mediator.
said it.
Middleman?
I'm like the pigeon. They're sending me.
Ah, the carrier pigeon. Yeah.
Why are you – but it's your show, your channel. Why are you the middle guy?
Yeah, because we do business with people, and that's kind of what people like when I cut that promo and said I made $1 million in 7 different professions. They started to add them up. Got to think we're basically a marketing agency at this point too. So there is a lot of.
Might be 8.
I mean, there's a lot of things that I have to handle. It could be 9, by the way,
9.
by
Could
the
be
end
10,
of
to be honest. I mean,
Well, 10's going to be tough, but 8 and 9 are within grasp.
Right there.
I do believe. So, I mean, there's a lot going on. I think it's going to be a massive fall for us, and I can't thank you enough. I can't thank the people that watch this show. And if you enjoyed the show, please tell a friend. Please subscribe. We're on a road to 1 million, massive giveaway, 1 million. And it feels like football is close. But not for the number 2 ranked team in the country, Ohio State Buckeyes. That's got to be a tough pill to swallow from Ohio State legend, A.J. Hawk. And myself, you're the greatest. Have a good day. That's a show.
The greatest sports talk show on the internet from 1 to 2 Eastern Standard Time. So come on down for a mental vacation with the boys on YouTube Live. It's McAfee and Hawk. It's McAfee and Hawk Sports Talk. AJ used to tackle quarterbacks and he's a Rust Belt kind of guy. That's the punter of the decade for the 2010s, kicking Pierce missiles to the sky. It's McAfee and Hawk. It's McAfee and Hawk Sports Talk. It's McAfee and Hawk Sports Talk.